Yearbook signing day. A cacophony of laughter, chatter, and scribbled goodbyes, the air thick with nostalgia and the promise of summer. For generations, students at Redwood High had partaken in this ritual, their yearbook a tangible reminder of fleeting friendships and youthful memories. This year, however, a different kind of relic had emerged from the school's storage room, a dusty, leather-bound yearbook from 1948. Its yellowed pages whispered forgotten stories, each photograph a portal to a bygone era. The discovery of the antique yearbook sparked curiosity amongst the students. Its aged pages, filled with black and white portraits of stern-looking teenagers, seemed to exude an unsettling aura. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the schoolyard, the whispers began. Stories of strange occurrences surrounding the yearbook spread like wildfire. Some claimed to see figures moving within the photographs, while others spoke of feeling an icy breath on their necks as they leafed through its pages. The yearbook quickly became an object of morbid fascination. Students huddled in dimly lit corners, their fingers tracing the faded ink of the inscriptions beneath the photos. One photo in particular drew their attention. It was a group photo of the school's drama club, their faces frozen in time, their eyes staring blankly from the page. At the edge of the group, almost invisible in the shadows, stood a girl with long, dark hair and piercing eyes. Each time someone looked at the photo, they felt a chill run down their spine. It was as if the girl in the shadows was watching them, her gaze following their every move. Word spread that the girl in the photo was Sarah, a student who had died tragically on the night of the school play in 1948. Sarah was a bright and talented young girl, known for her love of theater and her infectious laughter. She had been the star of the school play, and everyone had been looking forward to her performance. But that night, something went terribly wrong. A freak accident backstage led to her untimely death, casting a dark shadow over the entire school community. Her death, a tragic accident, had sent shockwaves through the school, leaving an indelible mark on Redwood High's history. The students and teachers were devastated, and the school was never quite the same again. The auditorium where the accident happened was closed off for years, and a sense of melancholy seemed to hang over the place. Some whispered that Sarah's spirit, unable to find peace, had become trapped within the pages of the yearbook, her presence lingering in the shadows of the photograph. Students claimed to see her ghostly figure in the background of old photos, her eyes filled with sadness. It was as if she was trying to reach out, to tell her story, but was forever stuck in that moment of tragedy. As the whispers grew louder, so did the strange occurrences. Lights would flicker on and off, and cold drafts would sweep through the hallways, even on the warmest days. Students began to avoid certain parts of the school, especially the old auditorium and the yearbook room, where Sarah's presence was felt the strongest. Students reported seeing Sarah's reflection in classroom windows, her face pale and sorrowful. Some even claimed to hear her voice, a faint whisper calling out for help. It was as if she was still trying to perform, still trying to be seen and heard, but was trapped in a world between the living and the dead. Doors creaked open and closed on their own, and the scent of lavender, Sarah's favorite perfume, wafted through the hallways. The smell would come and go without warning, leaving students and teachers alike feeling a mix of fear and sadness. It was a reminder of the girl who had once brought so much joy to the school, and whose tragic end had left a haunting legacy. Determined to uncover the truth behind Sarah's death and the strange happenings at Redwood High, a group of students decided to investigate. They scoured old newspapers and yearbooks, piecing together fragments of Sarah's life and the events leading up to her untimely demise. They discovered that Sarah was a talented actress and a bright student, loved by her peers and teachers alike. But behind her cheerful demeanor, Sarah harbored a secret, a darkness that threatened to consume her. The students learned of a love triangle involving Sarah, her co-star in the school play, and a jealous rival. The rival, consumed by envy and rage, had threatened Sarah, vowing to make her pay. As the students delved deeper into Sarah's story, they found themselves drawn into a world that seemed to exist between the pages of the old yearbooks and the shadows of the library. The line between the past and present began to blur, as if the very fabric of time was being manipulated by unseen forces. The yearbook seemed to pulsate with a strange energy, its glow casting eerie shadows on the walls. It was as if the book itself was alive, breathing with the memories of the past. Its pages were filled with whispers and shadows that danced at the edge of their vision, creating an unsettling atmosphere that made the students' skin crawl. One evening, as they gathered in the school library, poring over old yearbooks, they felt a chill in the air. The temperature seemed to drop suddenly, and an uneasy silence fell over the room. The lights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. The only sound was their own breathing, heavy and filled with fear. When the lights flickered back on, the students were met with a horrifying sight that made their hearts race and their blood run cold. They saw Sarah's reflection staring back at them from the library window, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and rage. It was a sight that none of them would ever forget. Sarah's reflection seemed almost tangible, as if she was trapped between the world of the living and the dead, reaching out for help. Her eyes, filled with a mixture of sadness and rage, told a story of betrayal and pain. It was clear that she had a message for them, something that needed to be heard. Her voice, a mournful whisper, echoed through the silent library. "He pushed me." The words sent shivers down their spines, filling them with a sense of dread. He made it look like an accident. The revelation hung in the air, heavy and oppressive, as the students realized they were uncovering a dark secret that had been buried for years. Terror gripped the students' hearts. Sarah's spirit, fueled by years of unspoken pain and resentment, was growing stronger, her presence casting a dark cloud over Redwood High. The yearbook, once a cherished record of memories, had become a conduit for Sarah's rage, her sorrow bleeding through its pages, infecting those who dared to unravel her story. The students knew they had to do something to appease Sarah's restless spirit, to help her find the peace she desperately craved. But time was running out. The boundary between the spectral realm and their own was thinning, and Sarah's ghostly grip on Redwood High was tightening. Driven by fear and a growing sense of responsibility, the students decided to hold a séance, hoping to contact Sarah's spirit and uncover the truth behind her death. As the clock struck midnight, they gathered in the school auditorium, the air thick with anticipation and trepidation. They placed the yearbook on the stage, its leather cover cold and damp beneath their fingertips. Suddenly, the yearbook flew open, its pages rustling violently. A cold wind swept through the auditorium, extinguishing the candles and plunging the students into darkness. When the darkness subsided, standing on the stage, bathed in an ethereal glow, was Sarah. But it wasn't the Sarah from the yearbook photo. The Sarah in the photo was young, vibrant, full of life and dreams yet to be realized. She had a sparkle in her eyes, a smile that could light up a room, but the Sarah standing before them now was a shadow of that girl. This Sarah was different, older, her face etched with the weariness of a life lived and lost. Her eyes, once bright and full of hope, now carried the weight of countless sorrows. The lines on her face told stories of hardship and pain, of battles fought and lost. She looked at the students, her eyes filled with a mixture of sadness and relief. It was as if she had been carrying a heavy burden for years, and now, finally, she could let it go. The students, sensing the gravity of the moment, fell silent, their eyes fixed on her. "Thank you for listening," she whispered, her voice a haunting melody that seemed to seep into their very bones. "He's gone now, finally at peace." Her words hung in the air, heavy with meaning, leaving the students to ponder their significance. And with that, Sarah vanished, leaving the students in stunned silence. They looked around, bewildered, trying to make sense of what they had just witnessed. Was it a dream, a hallucination? Or had they truly been visited by a spirit from the past? The yearbook lay open on the stage, its pages blank, the photos gone. It was as if Sarah's presence had erased her own history, leaving behind only questions and a sense of unease. The students approached the yearbook cautiously, their fingers tracing the empty pages. Sarah's story had been told. Her spirit finally laid to rest. The air in the room felt lighter, as if a great weight had been lifted. But even as they felt a sense of closure, the mystery of Sarah's life and death lingered in their minds. But her parting words left the students with more questions than answers. Who was he? What had he done to Sarah? And why had she chosen this moment to reveal her story? The students exchanged puzzled glances, their minds racing with possibilities. And what had happened to him? Was he a friend, a lover, or perhaps an enemy? The questions swirled in their minds, each one more perplexing than the last. They knew they had to find the answers not just for Sarah but for themselves. The yearbook remained at Redwood High, a silent reminder of the tragic tale of Sarah, the girl in the shadows. It became a symbol of the mysteries that lay hidden in the past, waiting to be uncovered. The students vowed to keep searching, to piece together the fragments of Sarah's story. And though her spirit was finally at peace, her story continued to echo through the halls of Redwood High, a chilling reminder that some secrets are best left buried. The students knew that the answers they sought might never come, but they also knew that they couldn't stop searching. For in the search, they found a connection to the past, and a deeper understanding of their own lives.